Hey, thanks so much for tuning in to the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth. We are diving into Genesis chapter 39 today, a chapter that I absolutely love because it talks about Joseph having self-control in the midst of crazy temptation, in the midst of having a woman literally just falling over him and saying, "You need to sleep with me," and even has this plan to seduce him day after day after day. And he could have, with his authority, with his position, easily could have given in to this, and he chooses not to. The common theme here that we see it over and over again, I think it's 4 different times in Genesis chapter 39, says that the Lord was with Joseph. And here's the thing, the Lord is with you too. And when the Bible says that when the Lord was with Joseph, he prospered. When we recognize that the Lord is with us, when we recognize that the Lord wants what's best for us, we will prosper. We see here that Joseph was in the midst of, he was wrongfully accused for his brothers. He was lied to from his father, and now he's in slavery. But he understands that the Lord was with him, and he had favor, God's favor on his life, and people noticed. And when people noticed, he began to rise up in influence, rise up in authority. So much so that Potiphar, the ruler of the land, his wife took notice of him. Let's dive in to the second half of verse 6. Now Joseph was well built and handsome, and after a while, his master's wife took notice of Joseph and said, "Come to bed with me." But he refused. With me in charge, he told her, "My master does not concern himself with anything in the house. Everything he owns, he has entrusted to my care." Joseph understood the favor of God, understood that, hey, I could have anything that I want. And he recognized that. And this is what he says. He says that anything in this house, everything he owns, he has entrusted to my care. No one is greater in this house than I am. My master has withheld nothing from me except you, because you are his wife. How then could I do such a wicked thing and sin against God? And though she spoke to Joseph day after day, he refused to go to bed with her, even to be with her. So here's the thing. I mean, we can learn, we can be encouraged, and we can be inspired by Joseph right here, is that we will face temptation in this world. We will face him, and there will be so many moments in our lives where we can justify our actions, where we feel like, hey, I earned it. I deserve it. Look at how hard I work. Look at how I was wrongfully accused, and now I've been blessed, and now, hey, look, I can get this now. I deserve it. Joseph here, he recognized that his blessings and his favor all came from the Lord, and he recognized that there is something here that I can't have, and that's you, Potiphar's wife, and he chooses not to go to bed with her. And as you read through here, he gets wrongfully accused once again in this chapter. And then we'll dive in a little bit later as well as far as how he handled that and how he handled being wrongfully accused again and in prison again. But let's learn and grow and be challenged by this chapter, how we can have self-control, how we can go to the Lord and find strength and find that self-control that only comes from him. We can't muster enough self-control on our own from this world, but with him, with God, his power and his provision, sin is great, but God is greater. Let's choose to be inspired by that today. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth.